Hello to everyone who's here today, especially those who know what it's like to carry the weight of persistent aches and soreness through the later years of life. I want to speak directly to you, the courageous souls who may have faced long, sleepless nights or days when the effort to simply climb out of bed seemed monumental. Chronic pain can feel like a stubborn companion you never invited in, and yet it's sitting there every morning reminding you that life after 70 can include challenges your younger self rarely imagined. But let me share with you part of my own journey, which brought some surprising insights. In today's talk, I'll walk you through 6 lessons I've gathered from my own experience with pain, lessons that I believe can bring strength and hope to everyone listening. By the end, I hope you'll see that there's more possibility and power in each of us than we might think. And while you're here, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more warm, understanding conversations just like this one. If you have a story of your own, comment. Better days ahead, because none of us should walk this path alone. I'd like to begin by recalling how unpredictable pain can be. You might go to bed feeling relatively decent, expecting another day with just a mild stiffness, and then wake up with aches that seem to have arrived from a completely different universe. That was my introduction to lesson number 1. I learned that I had to treat my pain like a living force, something that can shift or fluctuate from day to day. In the beginning, I resisted it, got angry, and tried to force my body into submission, telling myself I'm too proud to let a backache take me down. But that attitude can backfire. Sometimes it's vital to listen to your body's signals and adapt. That doesn't mean defeat, it just means respect. When I started to approach my body's discomfort with sensitivity rather than anger, I found that overexertion and emotional tension only added to my pain. The more I allowed myself to relax, breathe, and gently adjust what I was doing, the more days I seemed to get that were unexpectedly brighter. I realized how alive and changeable pain can be. In acknowledging its nature, I found a small piece of control in the midst of chaos. Over time, something else came into view, which I call lesson number 2. I discovered that my doctors, physical therapists, and caretakers can be wonderful guides, but ultimately, I am responsible for my own day-to-day well-being. This was a sobering realization because in the beginning, I placed all my faith in the professionals, hoping they'd magically fix me. However, no single doctor knows every bit of your daily life, your moods, your little ups and downs. Only you live inside your body fully. Once I took ownership of that, I started documenting how specific foods or activities might reduce or increase my discomfort. I noticed that sometimes a prolonged walk in the park at a gentle pace soothed my nerves. Other times, even an hour of extended gardening brought about too much strain on my spine. By becoming my own pain detective, I started to see patterns that helped guide my decisions. Please keep visiting your healthcare providers, absolutely. But remember, no one can tune into your body as well as you can. And this sense of self-awareness can reclaim a feeling of personal power that chronic pain often takes away. Lesson number 3 emerged when I found myself safely venting to a friend about how pain had stolen my identity, how I could hardly see myself at social events, or sometimes even take a trip to see my granddaughter. She simply listened and gave me a warm hug, telling me sometimes the body needs time and the soul needs comfort. It was then that I realized emotional health is intimately connected to physical discomfort. Persistent bodily aches can play tricks on our mind, making us feel fragile, sometimes depressed or anxious. Little frustrations can spike and overshadow the patience and serenity we want to embody. So I learned how to nurture my emotional well-being as part of my pain management. Gentle mindfulness, journaling, talking openly with loved ones, or even seeking professional counseling, these all became part of the process. I recognized that I'm not just a bundle of muscles and nerves. My heart and mind are deeply woven into the experience of pain. As I began to tend to my emotional life more carefully, my pain, while still present, felt less suffocating. It's an ever-ongoing process, but by focusing on mental and emotional health, I found tools that quietly help chip away at the burden chronic discomfort can place on our lives. Then there's lesson number 4, concerning something I used to dismiss way back: stress management. You might wonder, how can stress be so critical when dealing with constant pain? But I found out for myself, stress can magnify everything. When you're working around an already tender hip or stiff neck, being bombarded by bitterness, worry, or anger can make the feeling of pain even worse. It's as if tension in the mind creates tension in the body. Finding simple ways to handle daily stress became a game changer. For me, it was discovering that I could sit outside every evening, close my eyes, and breathe slowly, letting my mind wander to simpler times. Other friends I know find solace in gentle yoga, knitting, reading spiritual texts, or simply listening to music that lights up their spirit. The point is, you calm your nerves and your muscles get a chance to relax. This synergy lowers the intensity of pain and helps restore a layer of peace, even if it's fleeting. Chronic pain can be relentless, but so can our commitment to self-care. Don't underestimate how powerful de-stressing routines can be. They don't wipe away chronic pain entirely, but they do help us face each day with more composure and less tension. Lesson number 5 is very near to my heart: the importance of small victories and daily triumphs. In my early days of living with constant discomfort, I used to focus on everything I could no longer do. I'd look back at my younger self who could run, dance, or sit on the floor with the grandkids for hours on end without a second thought. My pain overshadowed my sense of gratitude, and while it's valid to feel the sense of loss, especially if your body can no longer do certain tasks, I realized that a mindset fixated on that loss only takes me deeper into darkness. So I began celebrating little things. The first morning I woke up and realized my backache was only at half the usual intensity, or the day I managed to do gentle stretches without triggering a flare. I'd happily share that small success with my partner or with a friend over the phone. Focusing on small positives helps your mind rewire toward hope. And the more you celebrate the small joys, the bigger they become. Chronic pain is not always going to vanish, but the light can shine through the cracks if you pay attention to every bit of progress, however tiny. In time, these small celebrations accumulate and become a foundation for your emotional well-being. Finally, lesson number 6 was one I never expected. Pain can be a teacher if we let it. Now, I don't mean that in a romantic sense, like it's good to suffer. Nobody wants to be in pain. But for me, it acted like a lens revealing parts of life I'd previously ignored. My pain made me slow down, spend more time reading, reflecting, or calling up old friends. When I felt frustrated, Sometimes I'd pick up a pen and write an old-fashioned letter to a nephew I hadn't spoken to in ages. It also made me appreciate small blessings. A kindly neighbor who offered to pick up some groceries, or a moment of laughter with a friend that made me forget the pain for a few minutes. When we open our hearts to the lessons hidden in adversity, we may find empathy for others going through similar struggles. Pain can broaden your perspective in ways that comfort never would. It taught me to truly see others who are battling their own obstacles. It made me a more compassionate neighbor, a more grateful family member, and I think a more patient listener. Pain, in a strange way, showed me corners of my own humanity that might have stayed hidden. I'm not grateful for the pain itself, but I've learned to be grateful for the insights it forced upon me. I'd love to hear if any of these lessons resonate with you. Please comment. Better days ahead, and share your own experiences and tips. Even if your pain journey is different, our shared trials can unite us in a spirit of compassion. So let's recap these 6 lessons, just to highlight them. 1. Pain changes day by day, pressing us to stay flexible in our approach. 2. We must become active participants in our own care. 3. Our emotional health and our physical aches are deeply intertwined. 4. Stress intensifies pain, so it pays to find ways to stay calm. 5. Celebrate the smallest of victories to reignite hope. 6. There can be wisdom hidden in pain, an unasked-for teacher that might open your eyes to deeper truths about yourself and others. None of this is meant to be easy, but you are not without options, and you most certainly are not alone. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe for more talks that speak right to the heart of life after 70. Remember to comment, better days ahead, and may each day offer you comfort, resilience, and a reminder that your story still holds many beautiful chapters ahead.